to work on our feet just a little teeny bit here. So we're going to take one, you can always sit on a blanket. This could even be done sitting on a chair if it's hard down here on the floor with this position. So we're going to let's cross your right over your left thigh. You're going to take your thumbs, and I'm going to start right in the center of my foot here, the center of the balls of the feet, and I'm going to press and drag outward. So I'm pressing and I'm going out. Okay, pressing in the middle, dragging it. Just a couple times. Kind of like what we do with the ball, right? One more time like that. And then you're going to grab your big toe. I'm going to pull my big toe away from my heel. So I take my one hand's on your ankle. One hand is just pulling out that toe. And then give it a little wiggle. The toes get really jammed, you guys. So these are little joints that are really important. And then second toe, we pull that second toe away from your ankle. I'm holding my ankle so it's stable. And then I'm giving it a little wiggle. A little wiggle. And then third toe, pull, little wiggle. When's the last time we pulled our toes? And then fourth, pull it out, a little wiggle. Fifth, pull, little wiggle. We're going to take your hand, spread your fingers, interlace your fingers between your toes. Woo! Can be a little sensational. If they don't make it all the way down to the base of the toe, that's totally fine. We just want to get them in there as much as we can, and then we'll pull the toes a little bit up to try to get those fingers to settle in. Once you have this position, I'm going to take my toes and I'm going to draw them to that point position and then away. So I'm just folding at the toes, at the metatarsals, a little forward and back. Just creating some movement here, okay, in this upper part of my foot. The lower part might respond. That's totally fine. Last two. All right, and then you're going to slowly pull your fingers, traction your toes as you do so, out. Last thing here, you're going to grab the top of your foot with one hand, the heel with the other hand. You're going to imagine your foot was like a washcloth, and you're going to wring out the foot. So I'm going to twist these two, my ankle and my heel and my upper foot away from each other in two opposite directions. We're going to try, like we're wringing out a washcloth or a towel. And that heel doesn't move a lot, right? So we just encourage a little bit of motion. We need that motion here, even if it's a little bit, okay? The foot is strong, so don't be afraid to give yourself a little kind of twisty motion. If it's painful, of course, then stop. But it should feel nice. And the foot is strong. Think about that. It holds you up all the time. All right, one more time. Okay, just stretch that leg out and just kind of sense, does that foot or that leg feel slightly different than the other leg? So you just want to notice between things that you do to feel the results. All right, other side. Hey, buddy. Okay, so take your thumbs and press in the middle and then out. So this upper part of the foot, I'm pushing and then I'm dragging out right underneath those metatarsals. You can decide how much pressure you want here. One more time. Ooh, and one foot might be a little more sensitive than the other, right? So grab your big toe. You're going to hold on to the ankle, and then you're going to grab your toe, and you're going to pull the big toe away from the ankle and give a little wiggle. Second toe, pull, a little wiggle. Third, pull, a little wiggle. Fourth, pull that toe away, a little wiggle. Last toe, pull, little wiggle. Spread your fingers. Let's see about this foot. Each foot's different. You're going to notice different tension in each foot. Woo! I'm very much tighter on this side. So we're going to try to get our fingers down in there, okay, you guys? And then you pull the toes up to try to settle the fingers down to create your little personal foot spacer, okay? Now from here, you just start to fold. I'm gently tractioning my toes as I fold, forward and back. And you might notice quite a different movement and different tension or less tension. So just notice the difference between sides of the body, especially with our feet. We hold ourselves differently. So you might notice, wow, this foot moves a lot, or this foot doesn't move a lot. Okay, all right, now, so slowly pull the toes with you, drag them away, and take those fingers out. Okay, you're gonna grab your, I'm almost blank, I think we're gonna do the twist next. So you're gonna grab your heel and grab the top of your foot. And then we're gonna see about twisting or wringing out our foot. Can I move that ankle just a little bit? Maybe I want to focus more on that heel bone, not ankle, sorry, your heel bone, okay? As you gonna get a little movement, oppositional motion here in my feet. Couple more. Awesome. Okay. Back to center. Just stretch those legs out in front of you a little bit. Hands can be slightly behind you. I'll go a little sideways. You're going to wiggle the legs. So it's like shaking. We're going to get some vibration and heat going in the legs. See if you can go do this a little longer. It's a little coordination. And then you're going to roll side to side. Now, it's the feet are going the same direction. You can always slow it down, but it's not just my feet. My thigh bones are going with me side to side, up, and that happens way up in those hips, okay? It's kind of brisk. See if you can find a little bit of a pace here for yourselves. And then relax the legs, bend the legs. Feet are a little wide. I can lean back a little on my hands. You could also be on your fingertips. Go ahead into your windshield wipers. Now, allowing the leg, the knee to fall in. Okay, we're just warming up these hips, getting to our hips now. We went from feet going up to the hip. May not be the biggest motion yet, that's okay. A couple more times here. Okay, you guys, we're going to take our legs all the way. I'm going to go to your right. So we're going to go to right to the Z-sit position. And I'm just facing kind of that over my right knee, a little, your right knee. And this back hip, look at it, it's not down all the way. That's okay. All right, we're going to either no hands or hands come through center and go the other way. And just pause for a minute. Can I sit into my legs? No. And then over to the other side. This travels. You're going to notice. So you're probably already moved forward. We go and we sit for a minute. Can I have weight in my hips a little bit? Come through center. Not straining, not pushing. We're just creating some mobility. Starting to move. 2 more times. If you need to scoot back a little and then go forward, that's fine. Or if you have room, keep going. You'll keep moving forward. And then 1 more time to your left. Awesome. Hey, and then come back to center. We're going to stay where you are, straighten your legs. Hopefully you can see me. I'm going to scoot back a little so you can see me, okay? We're going to walk back on our sits bones. So I'm going to lift up my right hip and go back. Left hip. It's not a big lift. I say that, but it's really a scoot back so that we can get the motion. It's kind of a little lift and then it goes back. A little lift back. I touch, lift, lift, lift. Yeah. And then you're going to go forward, 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 baby, forward, forward. Keep going forward. You guys keep going. No. Once you've reached the end of your, we're going to do 1 more time going back with those sits bones. So it's real easy and light to the body. My torso is somewhat relaxed. helping our sacrum and pelvis to be aligned here, okay? Now, bend the legs again, bring your hands behind you. They can be a little further back and just lean into your hands for a moment. Fingers can face either side or back, okay? And you're just gonna let your chest fall. And let your shoulders, when your chest falls, your shoulders kind of slide up, right? Now, feel the palms of your hands and gently push the palms of the hands down. And as I push the palms of my hands down, my chest lifts. And I want you to do that from your hands. And also the shoulders will slide down. And then just relax. So it's not like we're efforting a ton. I find my hands, I push the floor down, and by pushing the floor down, the shoulders slide down and back, and the chest lifts. You're gonna go 2 more. So you slide and just relax back, like you're just hanging out. And then you decide, I'm gonna start to get up, and so I push my hands. That's gonna lift my chest, maybe I lift my eyes. And one more time, we let the sink happen. Maybe you find your exhale here. And then you push the hands and you find the inhale here. Good. And just hold this position now. Walk your hands a little closer to you. And now give it a little effort. Push down, corkscrew your arms back. So I'm corkscrewing those arm bones back so that the chest is a little more open. Now I feel my triceps. Start to feel the muscles of the arms work, especially the triceps, maybe a little bicep. My neck is easy. The top of my shoulders are easy. I might feel muscles under my armpits. Take another moment here. Good. Well, keep that position of your hands. Walk your feet slightly forward. Take one hand behind your thigh, other hand behind your thigh. You're sitting up nice and tall. Yes. Now from here, I'm going to curl the pelvis under till I come to maybe the back of my pelvis. And then I'm going to bring the pelvis forward. Pelvic tilt in this seated position. So we're going to curl the pelvis under any amount. Lead with the pelvis. Don't worry about the rest of the spine. And then you tip the pubic bone forward, and that brings you back. Curl under. Scoop, tailbone under. And then coming up, pelvis, tailbone goes back. 2 more times. Scoop. See if you can get a little bit of motion from the pelvis. And then pelvis forward. Last time. Scoop back. Spill forward. Give me a diamond shape or butterfly shape. Hands on your, wherever you can hold. So maybe ankles, maybe shins. See if we can get nice and tall and just shift a little side to side. Here's one side of my pelvis, the other side. Side to side. This is all for our hips here and our low backs, opening up this area. Whenever we do kind of rocking or shifting, also working our, stimulating our inner ears, okay? Couple more side to side. At some point we might just go all the way over. All right, now coming here, feel your pelvis on the mat. So feel your sits bones, feel the pelvic floor, like you're sitting on your pelvis. Okay, I want you to really sense the ground under you because we're now going to make a circle around our pelvis. So I'm going to shift forward. I want to feel like I'm shifting to the front of my pubic bone, front of my pelvis. I go to the side. So I'm on, now let's say you're on your left side. You're going to go back to the back of the pelvis and then over to the right. And I want you to continue making a circle around the pelvis. It might have to be small. A lot of times when we do these circles, we lead with our chest, which is fine. But we're going to see, can we actually shift on the pelvis? Can I actually move around the pelvis, creating space in my hips, creating some space in my back. It might be small because there might be areas that are kind of blurry. It's like, wait, I don't know where the side of my pelvis is. So feel the weight shift. Okay, go the other way. Feel the weight shift. It's a great way to create mobility. Side, back, side, front. Is one direction easier than the other? We're gonna do one more. Good. And then bring your legs together. Give me a little mermaid seat. Call this the mermaid. You're gonna start to get a little low abs. From here, maybe one hand, maybe both hands, maybe no hands. I can come around. Oh, I get a little stuck, and then I'm on the other side. And then we switch. We switch. So if I was using my hands are just behind me. Notice how the body shifts back and forward. So again, we're working with our vestibular system, our inner ears. We're working with the body shifting weight, right? It becomes a smaller shift when we don't have our hands, mostly because I have to kind of find that center. Otherwise I'll fall over. 2 more times. You get those hips going, little hip flexor, low abdominals. Okay, whatever side you're on now, pause there. You're gonna come to hands and knees. You're gonna flex your feet, okay? And we're gonna be on our hands here. I want you to feel like you're very light in the body. So I'm like light lifted, and we're gonna do light circles around the wrists and around the hips. Easy light in the body. Light around your wrists. Go ahead, go the other direction. Gonna make a circle. Make sure you're actually doesn't have to be big. You're not trying to go fast, but we're making a circle around it. And then come to center. Flex those feet. Reach your heels behind you a little bit. Slide back. So you get a stretch in your feet. Come forward a little bit. Tops of the feet, press down, you guys. Really press those feet down. And then give me a teeny little knee lift. And then back down you go. Flex your feet. Slide back a little bit. Come forward. Tops of the feet, push. Press your hands. Give me a little knee lift. Just going to do one more round like this. So flex your toes. Flex your feet. Reach through the heel. Woo, that can be sensational. Come forward. Tops of the feet, little lift. Good. Stay here. Just your pelvis scoops under and back. So again, back to the pelvis now. Where's my tailbone? Where are my sits bones? Base of the pelvis. Another way to think about these pelvic tilts when we go to different positions is the front of the pelvis. So I can lift the front of my hip bones up, and then I can think of my front of my hip bones tilting back. You just want to find an area of the body, a cue that works for you, right? So if the tailbone is something you're like, oh yeah, I got it, then you can use your tail. Or you can think about the front of the hips. Also, you can think, which one do I feel, which one is a good cue that helps me stay connected? You got one more here. Good, and then just lengthen neutral. From here, we're gonna bring that right elbow. It's gonna bend, it's gonna come down to the floor. That's gonna create a slight rotation. Then I stretch back up. It's kind of subtle. I bend the left elbow. When I bend the left elbow, my torso rotates. I come back up. Keep going. So the head, make sure your head isn't leading the motion. You're just bending one elbow and you're seeing what happens. What happens in my body when I bend one of my elbows towards the floor? What happens in my upper body? If you're too far back, you might want to come a little over the hands for this one, so you can really feel this rotation settle in that mid back area, right between the shoulder blades. You got one more each side. Shoulder, mid back rotation. Awesome. Let's come off our hands, come to a high kneeling. Shake your hands and actually go and find your block for me. And also your ankle weights. Have those nearby. The block we're going to use right away, ankle weights nearby. Okay, so you're in your high kneeling position. We're going to place the block to the side to our right sides, okay? All right, from here, we're going to just lengthen up through the crown of the head. Can you feel, I want the front of your hip bones to lift up and go forward a little bit. I want that first. So the front of the hip bones lift up and push forward. And when I do that, I actually get some activity in the glute. Now we're going to release out that hip area at the hip fold, and I'm going to sit back any amount. And that's from the hip fold. My back is staying long. So now to come up, I'm going to lift up through the front of the pelvis, and the front of the hips comes forward. And then I sit right back down. And maybe it's just a halfway sit. And I come up, pull the front of the hip bones up and forward, and then I just fold out those hips. Couple more. Lift the hips up and forward, and then they fold, they release back. My spine is long. Hip bones lift up and forward, release back. Last two. Lift, press forward from the hips, release. Last one, come up forward from the hips, and then release. This time when we come up, we'll stay here, we'll stay lifted. There's a little bit of a lift through here. We're going to find the block. Let's find the block. Maybe I just have it on this, we'll call this the medium. If that's too low, you could have it on the high. Okay, we'll go, if you want it lower, we can do that in a minute, but let's all start with either medium or high. And when I'm coming over here, it's a side bend. So this side might be straight, be a stretch, and this side of my obliques is working. And then I just come back up. See this like that. We go over and up. From the waistline, over and up. There's a tall spine, I go up and over, and then I come down. Two more. Working your side body, the muscles of the obliques, the QL. One more time. Stay here. Take your opposite leg out. And now I can use my block load. I can place my palm on my block. I'm still lengthen that tail under a little bit, and I'm in that side bend. Okay, we're going to bring our hand behind our head. From here, I'm going to rotate a little bit towards the floor with my torso. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to lift through my chest. Exhale, I rotate a little bit to the floor. And then I come back. And rotate forward. Bring it back. Two more. And a little rotation down. And there's a rotation up from the torso. Last one, rotate down. Come back to the side. Reach your arm overhead. Stretch through your fingers. Slide your shoulder blade away from your ribs. Take a big breath here. Breathe into that upper rib. This time you're going to kind of circle. You can let the hips go a little bit. We're going to circle down. We're going to circle up and around. Okay? 3 times. We're going to circle down. Follow your hand, your arm. The hips will go back a little and then they come up and forward. One more time. Circle. And around. Stay here. Bring that arm up. Reach for the sky. Coming all the way up. Okay. Lengthen, lift a little through the pelvis. We're going to keep a little bit of length. We're going to take our arms. We're going to keep this shape, you guys. We're going to tip it over a little bit. And then we're going to come back. Just 5 times. We tip over. We come back. 2. A lot of core needed here. So you can go, you can make it smaller. If you have to, you can just go here and have that hand on the block still, okay? One more time. Beautiful. Bring that other leg in, arms down, front of the pelvis forward, lean a little back. Come back up. We lift, we're using the hips and the legs to bring ourselves back. Lean a little back. Feel the quads, feel the stretch of the knee. Only go so far. You can feel like you're in one long line. You're breathing. Last one. Beautiful. And then come back. Let's switch sides. Take the block to the other side, either medium or high. Feel what feels good. Okay, we're going to do 4 this time of just the pelvic hinge. So pelvis is lifting forward and pressing, lifts up and forward. And then you're going to release it, sit back. This time, tops of the feet are on the floor. Lift. You could also have them flex. Can't remember now if we flexed or pointed. When I come up, it's front of the pelvis lifts up and presses forward. We want to feel the back of the legs. And then I release. One more. We lift up from the front. It's subtle, but this one you will feel. And then release. Coming all the way up. Reach for your block. It's a side bend. I want to, as if I'm between 2 narrow hallways. I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. I'm going over. And then I come back up. Reach for the block. Over. If you need it higher, you can, but we're all going to stay at medium for right now. I want to get that side bend going. Can I start to feel up and over side bend? This is a really important motion for our spine that gets a little lost in our daily lives along with rotation. One more time. All right, now we're going to go over. Find the block, take your opposite leg out. Oops. Okay. From here, hand comes behind the head. Remember here, the tailbone's long, we're still in that side position. Take an inhale, and then we're going to rotate the torso from where your elbow is, rotates down. And then we open, we lift the chest to the sky a little bit. We rotate down. We're lifting up. The head, you guys, is along for the ride. Lead with your elbow or your chest, okay? The head just follows. One side might be a little stickier than the other, so note. One more here. Okay, stay here. Give me a stretch. Reach that arm overhead. Take a big breath here. Bring that breath into the top, those top ribs. Inhale. Then exhale. We start that circle. I'm going to come down. Follow my arm up and around. 3 times. Down. So, like nice and sweet. Doesn't have to be too effortful. And then we come all the way over. One more big stretch. And then we lift. We're going to lift like we're grabbing, pull ourselves up. Beautiful. Everyone shrug your shoulders here and then let there be weight under the armpit. Nice. Okay, here we go. Keep this shape. Or you can always put your hand down if you need. We're going to come over and up. Nice. Over. That's it, Claudia. Yes. And up. 2. Strong core here. 3. 4. These are a little more functional core motions, you guys, versus laying on our backs and doing crunch work. That's fine. That's all right. But how often do we do that in real life? And then one more. Whereas we might be standing and need to reach over or rotate. Okay, come on back. Last couple, we're going to do about 6 more of our thigh stretch, okay? So you lift up through the pelvis. We're in one long piece. Feel your shins. Let's activate pressing the shins down a little bit this time. Lean. Maybe 2 inches. It does not need to be a big motion. We want to be in alignment. I want to feel that the back of my hamstring glutes are working. I'm not gripped. I'm not like gripping out, but I'm working. We got 2 more. There's a little stretch in the front of my thighs that actually might feel like work, but it's a little bit of a stretch. Awesome. Good. From here, bring those arms up. Inhale, let everything extend. Let the tailbone release, let your heart lift up, your chest, your ribs lift with your arms. And then from here, we're going to exhale, we're going to curl and dive down towards the ground, rounding. Our arms stay by our ears. It's going to feel like you might fall. Try to get control all the way down. Fingertips reach the ground, palms. Inhale into your long extended spine. Sits bones lift, heart lifts. Woo, take a breath here. Inhale, exhale, round. Inhale, release. Exhale, round. Last one, release the spine. Exhale, round. And then release the long spine.